Whole World is fun because I feel like I had very little to do with it. When I first kind of found out about it, I think it was a morning that I couldn't make it to songwriting or something, and I think a bunch of people couldn't make it, and then it was just John and Shen.
I told John, hey, I actually have a song I wrote back in middle school. Do you want to take a look at it maybe, and we can work on it together? And what I like to do around that time was take old songs, take kids' songs, and play them on a piano, but just cooler. The song came to me, just the song of "You Got the Whole World in Your Hands," and I'm just like, that is actually really deep. This kid's song holds such a deep meaning, like, you've actually got my whole world in your hands.
That concept of like, we have a God that is so big and he's so good, and no matter what happens in your life, like it's just in the palm of his hand. What like a beautiful picture for us to hold on to, not just as kids, but especially as adults. And so I was like, dude, we've got to like breathe something into it and make it something that people of all ages can sing and grab onto.
John and I just started hashing out. We just edited verses, we changed up the chorus.
And then we started singing different things and finished that song and did that in that session. But that was one that God planted the seed for years before. And it's a great example of sometimes we reap the harvest of seeds that we planted years ago. And that was very much true in this song.
You are faithful through the ages. No power of hell could ever change it.
I remember coming back the next week and was like, hey, what do we want to write? And Shen was like, oh, me and John worked on one. And they started singing, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, how did you guys come up with that all on your own so quickly? And then he was like, oh yeah, well, I actually wrote it when I was in middle school. And I was like, what are you talking about? You wrote it when you were in middle school.
Whole World was our first original that we shared to the church, and it was super exciting. And so there's just a lot of feelings and emotions going around, like, oh my goodness, well, is this gonna go well? Is this gonna flop? Is this gonna actually do something with our church? And I still remember the moment, just every hand raising their hands in the air, just worshiping to that bridge. You've got my whole life. You've got my whole attention. You've got every single part of me. It became more than just Shen's little hobby. It became a conduit of worship.
You got my whole world.
Both I Trust You and Whole World were both songs that we had just come out of COVID era. As we were writing for what felt like the new season for our church, we were asking the question very consciously, what does God want to speak to people right now? And we just kept saying over and over again, like, I feel like God wants to say that he's faithful. Like, I think we need to remember that we can trust him. I think we need to remember that even if things seem scary or seem like they're out of our hands, it's okay because they're in his.
The things that I'm tempted to like give my anxiety toward, it's my world, it's my family, it's my whole life, it's my hopes and my dreams. But the bridge is just like this acknowledgement that you are holding it all. So because of that, everything that I am, I just give back to you because I trust you.
My biggest prayer for this song, that we remember what it was like to actually trust without any hesitation, to re-explore that childlike faith and that childlike trust.
My prayer for it is that it would help bring peace to people in their life in whatever area it is that maybe they struggle with fear, maybe they struggle with anxiety, that it would just be a reminder like, hey, you've got a really good God, a really big, powerful, like awe-inspiring, amazing God who's got it all in his hands. And would that be the thing that like just brings us back to peace?